Hello, this is the Scott Stream. You can check us out at scotthambrick.com. Today I want to talk a little bit about Aristotle's Politics. I was reading this again for the second time. I haven't read it in 2 years. And in Book 5, Aristotle talks about the causes of revolution. Remember, Aristotle was, of course, in ancient Greece and a member of a city-state. And they had a very, very granular view of culture. They recognized people from different city-states as entirely different cultures in some respects, and even different races. And Aristotle seeks harmony in all things, moderation, of course, and he's looking for harmonious operation of state so that it frees up the individual to live the good life, as he describes in his book, The Ethics. Now, Book 5, Chapter 3, if you got the Becker numbers in your edition, you can go to 1303a, line 25. And he says, another cause of revolution is difference of races which do not at once acquire a common spirit. For a state is not the growth of a day any more than it grows out of a multitude brought together by accident. Hence, the reception of strangers in colonies, either at the time of their foundation or afterwards, has generally produced revolution. For example, the Achaeans who joined the Troezenians in the foundation of Sybaris, becoming later the more numerous, expelled them, hence the curse fell upon Sybaris. At Turi, the Sybarites quarreled with their fellow colonists, thinking that the land belonged to them. They wanted too much of it and were driven out. At Byzantium, the new colonists were detected in a conspiracy and were expelled by force of arms. The people of Antissa, who had received the Chian exiles, fought with them and drove them out. And the Zancleans, after having received the Samians, were driven by them out of their own city. The citizens of Apollonia on the Euxine, I don't know if that's the correct pronunciation, Euxine, after the introduction of a fresh body of colonists, had a revolution. The Syracusans, after the expulsion of their tyrants, having admitted strangers and mercenaries to the rights of citizenship, quarreled and came to blows. The people of Amphipolis, having received Chalcidian colonists, were nearly all expelled by them. Aristotle, my understanding of Aristotle, is that he believes that politics are driven by economic and group identities or interests. He typically talks about economics driving this. The wealthy, the poor, and the middle class are the groups that he typically talks about. In the different proportions of the wealthy, middle class, and the poor in a government would drive whether the government ends up being an oligarchy or a constitutional government or a democracy. But along with the pressures of sort of economics, he also talks about the noble characters, like excellent people in a government or in a state, large numbers of excellence, noble people can bring about an aristocracy. But within a state, there can be sort of two separate interested classes, each of which are divided into their own economic interests. And as long as there are those two separate interests involved, that then fraction down into their own economic interests, within those, revolution is inevitable. You can go check that out. This is Aristotle's Politics. This book's 2,000 years old, or over 2,000 years old. And he cites example after example of bringing in these disparate interests and disparate persons who are not of common spirits into a state. And and how it is a recipe for disaster. This book was written in the 4th century BC. It's getting close to 2,500 years old, and he nails it right on the head. Go check out Aristotle's Politics